What's up?
Thank you for the sub, Cole. Finally.
What?
He just wanted to be able to use the awesome emoji.
Oh, nice.
What's up, Josh? All right. So since we went over competition stuff this past Wednesday, we're going to go over Monday's footage tonight. So let's get that up. Another good busy night. Looks like we got Caleb and Josh starting off. I think Steven and not sure who. Jordan and Chris. Josh getting caught in Caleb's lateral drop. Look at the time. Caleb and Josh just kind of dance here for a second, and Caleb sits in on it.
Yeah, it's pretty routine.
It was a pita, but it's I have no idea what you're talking about.
Pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know why. Well, I guess I do know why. Like, Twitch can get a better cut. What's up, Mitch? Twitch gets a better cut, from higher tier subs, I'm sure. So the free sub make it a little bit more difficult to figure out how to use it. But thank you, bud. I appreciate it. Now just remember to do it every month. Set a reminder in your phone, and I'll never talk to you about it again. Now, let's see how Josh got past Caleb here. So we were talking about this a little bit today. So Caleb is really relinquishing the knee shield here. Kind of miss it because of some people in the way here, but a little bit further. Here we go. So Josh is kind of in that single leg inside position that we were talking about. Steps out of that. Steps back in almost to a half guard, but doesn't get the knee to the mat. And then now with Caleb trying to push that leg away, he makes it really, really simple for Josh to be able to pass here.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be too upset over the relinquishing of the knee shield if he used the underhook. Right. So if the Luke and Tom, they all give the analogy of the sword, the shield, right? Like the knee shield is the shield in your arm, that underhook is your sword. And so you've gotten your knee shield swept away, crushed, whatever, but you have this underhook. You should be attacking, right? Like get up to your knees, try and take them over with a knee tap, or let's start our half guard attacks rather than just allowing somebody to come around the guard this way.
Yeah, and it looks like he sets up for the overhook here, but just doesn't make use of it in time. Josh can get away. He whizzers down, and Caleb was just on his hip. He couldn't get his knees to the ground. What's up, Deathcore?
Deathcore?
Going good, man.
Oh.
Yeah, we switched it up. Originally the camera was right here where I'm putting it up now as a backup. Then we got a different system that we started to try out, and I think everybody just seemed to really like this view, and the quality is so much better than a knockoff GoPro. So we're gonna switch it up to here. Only problem is now we could see everything, and it's gonna make the stream go on forever and ever and ever. As long as you guys are doing cool stuff, we have to comment on it. So be less good at jiu-jitsu, and we won't talk about it. Speaking of, I don't even know where to look right now.
What's up, Justin?
What's going on, bro? What's up, Steven? Baker, how's it going? Let's stick with Caleb and Josh here. Just want to look at how they got into this tangle. More of the same, except Caleb makes a switch here from I don't even want to say the switch because he wasn't attacking Josh's right leg, but he goes in deep on deep half and does the entrance you like to do, swinging that leg over, reaping him like crazy right now.
Yeah.
Can't reap much harder than that. And then it's funny, he reaps really hard, which normally takes the knee in this direction, but I think Josh was counteracting that, and Caleb switched it up in the other direction, which is good. If Josh pushes in the other direction to counteract your reap, then yeah, take him the way he wants to push. And then now it's a matter of getting heel exposure.
Josh is wise to that. Like, I really like that knee wedge that he puts. Watch his right knee. So he's extracting here, which isn't. This means that Caleb, if somebody's able to extract their leg like this, this could be the way. So straight ashi, in my opinion, is, I would say, one of the weaker positions. Okay, and I'll explain why. The straight ashi, you basically have both of your feet, folded over one another, and basically all you have here is your knee pinch that you're relying on. It becomes a lot more effective when you switch up your leg configuration and start pulling your heels to your butt. So you see how Caleb's his feet are kind of like out in a way. I don't know, like, they're just not engaged. Okay, they're just out there. I would like to see them pulling back to his butt to really trap Josh's hips. And I don't think you would see the same ability of, Josh wouldn't have the same ability to just extract his leg here if you had a strong back heel in that direction. Yeah. There's different ways to configure your legs, but a standard straight ashi is I would say, can be a very weak position if you're not employing like everything that you have available, which is going to be the back heel. Sometimes even going to like a pseudo triangle on the outside. Like, there's a lot of different configurations you can do to lock the hip down.
Joe's in on Daniel's legs right now. Right up here in the middle.
Yeah, knee bar territory here. Looks like he's gonna get threatened with a toe hold. Yeah.
I'm just curious what happens. So it looks like Joe sits into standard.
And he's got the Rimi Ashi, which is nice, and then he rolls over.
Yeah, looking for the knee bar entrance, it looks like. Either that or the cross Ashi entrance, but kind of got stuck halfway. And Joe, you might be seeing it now, benefit of hindsight. But as you come up on this, like, I'm trying to think. So you're going for the toe hold here on the secondary leg, so the leg that you don't have your own legs wrapped around. And you can watch Daniel is able to turn his hips down, and you stay on that leg. I would advise switching to the primary leg here. Like, screw the toe hold. Keep Daniel's knee on the ground. In fact, if you can, like, you should be able to open up his, like, kind of half triangle that he has right here with his legs, and go on the attack for that primary leg, right where it's at. Yeah, I mean, that's right to a backside, outside heel hook, rather than digging in on the toe hold. I'm not upset at you trying to go for this, because I have a feeling you're working. Yeah, see, so it seems like maybe you were trying to work the toe hold knee bar dilemma, like play those two against each other, because as soon as those legs open, you switch to the knee bar here. But that's going to work primarily when Daniel is down and you're playing from like a reverse ashi position facing towards his feet. So not a bad idea, just kind of the wrong time to execute it, I would say. Trying to break through. Yeah. No, that's apparent now. Braden on his rolling Kimura. What do you hit it on Gavin here? So Boom.
Nice.
Let's see the
Oh, jeez.
It's funny. He like does the whole flip through the air. Us older gentlemen like roll over our shoulders to minimize the impact. He's just like bam right on the back.
And then straight up into that triangle.
Yeah, this is nice. I like where he ends up with it. I'd like to see you trying to get to a. I mean, it's gonna depend on what your opponent does, because Gavin's rolling up here, kind of like your opponent did when you try to hit it on him. But if you can get to a more perpendicular angle with Gavin, like if you were on the first line there, that's where you can actually turn that into a really, really good Kimura or a back take. And I think, I don't know if I've ever gone over like that T, what we refer to as the T Kimura position. Remind me at class. I could show you guys the options you have from there. Meanwhile, you know, your entrance to it, whatever, have fun with it. Especially if you can get to here, a dorsal Kimura, you're almost into a side triangle. And it looks like you're just manipulating the arm to where you want it to be. That's solid, man. You know, the beautiful thing about that position is the number of attacks that you can set up from there. Got Ted on the armbar with Mitch. Josh does a good job at keeping his legs out of danger, I feel like.
I agree. Trying to go for back take, trying to open up the turtle.
Ooh.
Interesting, yeah.
Almost into a triangle. Side triangle. So something to keep in mind. Views on Twitch. Thank you, Laser. Appreciate it, man. Welcome to the chat.
Thanks.
Glad you're enjoying it. Something I want you to keep in mind, Josh, against the turtle position here. So you kind of telegraphed what you were thinking as far as breaking down the turtle by stepping in on that leg. Let's go back to a more clear spot. So you did it right here. So now Caleb's kind of wise to what your intentions are. So now when you go to do it again, he's keeping his legs in nice and tight. He's crossing his ankles even. What he's doing is really limiting his own base. So I know Andrew and I are in the way right now, but if with this tight waist grip that you have, if you then opted to instead give him a forceful pull in this direction towards you, you pull him and get out of his way at the same time. And what that'll do is, one, if he keeps his base narrow, he'll either fall over and you can start to set up, you know, a seatbelt grip up in the upper body, maybe help you step over into taking the back, or he'll have to open his base up in order to prevent rolling over. So then now he's back to a wide base. You can re-attack that leg that you were just going for, either the same way or you know, driving the knee in like I like to do. But then you can start advancing your position from there. So instead of trying to just like do the same thing over and over, now that Caleb has adapted, you know, think about pulling his waist, getting him off balance that way, seeing how he reacts, and then taking advantage of it.
Is that a double leg on Duncan from Steven?
Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it looks like a pretty good one.
Yep.
Let's see if there's a setup here. Steven doesn't even really have, he hits it from the outside. He doesn't even really have like connection to the wrist or anything.
Yep.
Quick level change.
Get those grips out of here.
Yeah. Both knees down, gets Duncan's hips right over his shoulders for the easy dump. Very nice. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Laser, you I take it you train? And thank you for the follow, bud.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're still in the first round. Deal with turtle now. So guy gives me 0 room to put any hands or hooks in. Yeah, that's in dealing with a tight turtle. Let's see. We'll look at Josh and Caleb doing it right now. So Josh still trying to work the same thing, but Caleb throwing every, just doing the typical defenses here. And Laser, since you brought it up, I'll give you my spiel on what I like to do here. Josh is actually in a good spot to do it at this frame. Rather than most people think about getting their hooks in on turtle, they think about driving a foot in. It's not impossible, it's just difficult. Something I find a lot easier is even if this elbow and this knee were connected and that hole was really tight, you aim your knee into the hole, not the foot, but your knee, and you drive the knee back towards the hips, back towards the groin, and you find a much better spot for your leg to enter. And then, just like we saw Josh doing, stepping over with this leg and trying to capture the ankle, you could start to pull that leg out. You kind of have a knee pinch on the leg, and then you can either hit your power half Nelson up top, you can do the hip pull to get them rolling, and then use that knee pinch that you have on the leg to help get yourself into a strong back position with at least one hook, whether you do a triangle on one leg like a high ball ride position, or set up double hooks, your standard hook position, whatever. Trained in Texas, been out about 6 months. Nice, man. You're in I don't know if you're in Austin, but since that has now become like the new mecca for jiu-jitsu, but I'm sure Texas has a great scene. I think Houston has a huge scene too. I know a lot of the events are held out there.
Yeah, Dallas, Houston. Yep.
So here I'm in on cross ashi on Andrew, trying to control the other leg. Yeah, and there are no shortage of things you can do from turtle. You really just gotta spend some time thinking about how to either get people off balance to open their base up, or thinking about creative ways that you can set up either an upper body grip or a lower body grip. We'll probably see Caleb hit a Makikomi on someone in this role just to demonstrate some of the perils of fighting a tight turtle position. Caleb putting it to use offensively here, though. So Joe steps in, and this is what you do to me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe steps in that leg up the middle. Caleb rolls into a leg entry.
Yeah, so Joe, when you're entering in to try and break the turtle down, you have to be, for this particular, not that that's wrong, right? Like putting your legs in between. It looks like you got the finish anyway.
Yeah, I
did. But like while you're breaking down the turtle, you need to be facing his hips, not his head, when you're starting to break this down. And the reason is because of this rolling leg entry. If you're facing back towards his hips, if he rolls, it's very easy for you to back out of it, and you can actually you get into a side control position, so you still get a pin, basically, from that roll.
That was a nice counter, though.
It was.
All things considered.
That was a cross-side straight ankle, I think.
Oh, Mitch, don't block my strangle. I don't remember if I got Andrew on this or not. Definitely mandible if I did.
Justin is just being brutal up top with Ted. I mean, like...
Oh, so that was almost that little like Tsubame Geishi situation that Pinball was talking about a few weeks ago. So Ted goes in on the foot sweep, Justin says, psych. Gets his leg out of the way real fast.
And then just continues to push him away.
And good control over the leg to keep his knee out.
Yep.
But Ted's doing a good job regarding here.
Yeah, he's doing a great job regarding and going into a leg attack.
Yeah. He framed on the hips, created enough space. I guess I'm blocking everything now.
Yeah, that was actually a great sequence from both of them.
Yeah. All right, Joe. What was that?
Cooper's going for the straight ankle on Austin. And there we go. Oh, I love that. That's so this is what I think we both want to see more of. So
looking at Cooper right now?
Yeah, Cooper and Austin. So check this out. So we go through. Cooper is like completely goes in on an Imanari roll. Essentially, this is an Imanari.
Yeah, Jesus.
It is. His head, goes kind of inside, like a reverse Imanari. He goes in. He's going for the straight ankle. He's losing the straight ankle. Comes up, has a calf slice. Don't know if he knows it, but that's what I'm the most excited about.
Yeah.
So check this out. He comes up, snags that ankle, and gets the ankle up above Austin's hips. And what that does is Austin's not, trying to come into him right away. But even if he did want to come straight into him, Cooper's got the upper hand here, literally. Like his hand is, his ankle is, or he has Austin's ankle higher than his hips. And Austin wouldn't be able to get up in this situation.
Yeah.
And so he comes back up on top. And that's 2 points. That's a sweep, right? So that's a very good thing.
That was rad.
Yeah.
I can't believe he inverted almost directly into cross Ashi. I don't know of a time we've ever gone over that with him. That's great.
I know.
Oh, Joe, you were just about there. I saw you thinking about it. So this is more the spot. This is getting closer to the spot where you would do that like toe hold knee bar dilemma back and forth. But now as Caleb gets to his side here, he's made it real difficult for you to sneak this left knee around to where you want it to be to isolate his left leg. And now he gets to play smash. I'm not saying it would be an easy thing to do, but one thing I would immediately be trying here, Joe, is especially when I feel like his base is kind of like his leg is back right now and his grip is pretty committed to the body lock and his weight is kind of leaning to the left, and you have this grip on the lat, you may be able to keep him going in this direction. So I don't know, that's maybe not. Caleb's gonna be harder to move, but something to feel for. It looks like he's taking his time with his body lock pass here, making it miserable as he goes.
Yeah, he's camping out, trying to figure out what to do with your legs at this point.
Yeah.
He needs to shake your legs, Joe. That's what he's trying to get out of your half guard. And so he I think rightfully gave up on the body lock since he was trapped in your half guard.
Yeah.
I think there are better ways to pass the guard in half guard than the body lock, personally. And that was a solid way.
Damn, Coop inverted again into like a knee bar.
Yeah, I think he wound up finishing it. Oh yeah.
Not really. I mean, definitely switch the leg. Sick. Excellent job, Cooper. I kind of almost want to just encourage you to sign up for whatever division will let you do leg locks at your age, if there are any.
You got guys like Steven. No shame. No shame in the game.
What do you do? I miss.
So Chris is playing here, and then
Just a back
He
step.
just lets him sit straight in.
If it works, it works.
Yep. He's like, okay, he's gonna let me put my leg here. I'm gonna take it.
It's the dangers of playing De La Riva.
And reverse De La Riva. Yeah. Yep. Yep, straight into the ankle again, using it for a sweep. Okay, now Chris switches it up on you and gets you into Ashi. Which, yeah, I was going to say, then I feel like you're just going to go in and start attacking.
Nate Dizzle, thank you, bro. Glad you enjoy it. And thank you for the follow.
Thanks a lot.
I genuinely always love when we get some guys who aren't our students in here, and they're, if you guys dig what we do, that really makes me happy, even if you guys aren't the ones on camera.
Oh, totally.
I've said it since we started doing this. One of these days we'll figure out a good way to get maybe some of our loyal followers who aren't our students. We'll get some footage from you guys and maybe do some open mat reviews if you wanted that. That would be I think a fun thing to do.
Now we got two neighbors going at it.
Oh yeah. Matt and Steven. We got Jordan and Mitch. Mitch clubbing the shit out of Jordan right now. Did Steven just do his little cartwheel pass? Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, and rightfully so. This isn't a showboaty move in this case, in my opinion. Matt's in a decent spot to put a threat on Steven. He's got the guillotine. It's an arm-in guillotine, but Steven wants to get cross-eyed to, or one of the things Steven can do is get cross-eyed to take away the threat of the strangle. So, upsy daisy. And now Matt's, he's taking his arm out and is focusing on the hips and the leg, and no longer on a closed grip around the neck.
Was that choke?
Joe hit a compression choke.
No, Steven.
Joe in the chat said, "Here comes the compression choke." What did you do, Joe? Did I miss something? Oh, okay. So he just strangled a child. Cool. Sick, bro. We got north-south going on here. I've lost our spot. Where are we? There we go. All right, Steven.
So Nate, we're a Tom DeBlatt affiliate. We haven't had any big names come through other than Tom himself, right? But no, we don't normally have like big names drop in. We're a school out of Mooresville, North Carolina.
We need to convince Gary to come down one of these days.
We do, yeah, would really enjoy that.
When he's not training for 1FC.
Yeah.
I love Braden just like controlling Caleb by the melon here. It's a little behind you, but he just had a hand on Caleb's head, just pinning it to the mat as he moved around. So I told Austin I was going to heel hook him 5 times this round, or this evening, and I got him once really quickly, and then he didn't let me do it at all anymore. So nice. Credit to him for the defense. He asked if I wanted to put money on it, and I did not. So there's one. But also, let's just.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, let's just not ignore the fact that he tries to Muay Thai kick my shin right here so hard. But then a little knee pick takedown, and then working to this inside leg position. And Cole and Josh, we talked a lot about this today. notice how much I'm prioritizing getting my leg inside. I'm not hanging out too far away from Austin once we get down, and allowing him to establish legs inside. Let me slow this down. So right here, Austin's, he's doing a good thing, brings his knees to his chest to get his guard into a spot where he can dictate where his legs go. I immediately am trying to counteract that, right? So you can see I'm really trying to force my right leg inside, pop his leg out. And this is a position where I feel like I can start to pass, or at least be offensive. Obviously, I go into a leg lock, so I don't pass here. But this is a decent, somewhat decent example of what I was talking about with you guys today. Get the leg inside. Don't allow them to have two legs inside, which that'll just most likely end pretty poorly for you. So now through all this, I grab that ankle and just isolate it, fall on it real quick, set up an outside heel hook.
Yeah, Gary's finish in that Kimura finish was pretty awesome. It was great to see. I'm glad he got a win under his belt. Back on track,
Yeah, for sure. We've been training. I mean, I started training February 2014 was the first time I ever set foot on a mat. That was down in Florida at another school. Then you started training when?
February 15. A year later.
Long time now, but we've been with Coach Luke and Coach Mike at Mooresville for, for me, I guess 6 years now, something like that. When did I get up here? 2016. Mm-hmm. So it'll be 7 years in 7 years I've been here, so 6.5. It's been like 6 years since I started training with you guys. How about yourself, Nate? How long you guys been training? You and Laser.
Laser said 6 months, I believe.
Oh, earlier. That's right. Yeah. So Austin and I, let's see. Again, I'm on leg lock. A leg lock mission here. So I'm set up into cross, trying to initiate a roll to get the heel exposure. And now we switch briefly into 50-50. Austin's trying to really disrupt my control over his hips right now.
What'd you do other than jiu-jitsu? Was it MMA? Was it judo? Did you have, you said combat sports. What else did you come into jiu-jitsu with? 6 years, that's a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Dude, join the club. That's why I never got into it.
Yeah, that's why I do this.
I commend you for doing it for 4 years.
Now I only get kicked in the head by white belts occasionally.
Yeah, no kidding. And Danny.
So Austin does a great job here. I like everything about this is cool. So he's doing very well to hide the heel and to fight my leg configurations with his hands in order to disrupt my ability to control his hips. When he feels safe enough, he then goes on the counterattack. And some guys are a little bit more reckless with this and will go for broke maybe earlier than they should. Austin didn't start attacking me until he felt safe. I mean, it looks like I kind of have heel exposure here. But Austin knows when he's screwed and when he's safe to move. So now he puts me into a heel hook. He's actually stepped his left leg over. We were in this 50-50-ish position, but now he comes over, puts that reap in, and then brings my ankle across his body, and now I'm in some trouble, and you'll see me react. I know immediately. It's like, all right, I'm digging on the heel, I can't get it. Now Austin's digging back on me. I don't have anything. Now I have my heel exposed, and now I bail. Say, all right, get off me.
And that's a lot of, so anybody who's been put in that position, that's actually, I've had my leg popped in that position, and it does not feel good. That strong reap with that outside heel hook attempt is very, very strong. It was wise for Matt to immediately look for something else to do. Because there is a ton of pressure that can happen there.
I don't think Austin would have been kind. I think he would have enjoyed popping my knee that night.
Yeah, and honestly, like, kind of getting so new into these type of entanglements and stuff, like, it can be tough to judge your partner.
Yeah. Let's look at Matt and Steven. They had a nice little exchange here. So, let's see, Matt. I want to see how Matt gets on this. So Steven, looks like Steven's kind of letting him work a little bit. Matt gets the strangle in. Doesn't get the hooks, so Steven's probably not terribly concerned here. And this is going on. This is what's going on right over my head right now. So, what Matt needs to do here, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with breaking down turtle and everything. I've been yelling at some of our kids about setting in strangles against a turtled up opponent when they don't have hooks in. And really, Steven's, again, looks like he's letting Matt work a bit. If Steven just hiked his hips up, Matt would go for a ride and really lose any significant strangle ability here. But since he started to sag heavy in one direction over the shoulder, Steven rolls with it. This is where Matt really needs to prioritize getting his hips in, or I'm sorry, getting his legs in, setting his hooks and all that. Otherwise, I mean, look how Steven even has his chin up, and he's not terribly concerned with it because he knows he could probably cut an angle out of this and get safe. And there it is, right? As Matt comes up, Steven probably, it looks like he breaks the grip.
Yep.
So Matt, I don't know if Matt watches the stream or not, but Matt, when you're here, this is look how unfazed Steven looks right now. This is where you want to start thinking about setting in your lower body control. The strangle's great, but you really need to control the lower body too. Started BJJ at a club at college. That's cool. You know what? When I was in college, I almost started. I had like a TA who was in a jiu-jitsu club or grappling club. It was still pretty small. I thought back then. I was like, man, that sounds really cool. I should try it. And then didn't until like 5 years later. So good on you for getting in when you're younger. Trying to go to all the open mats. That's a great way to do it, man. I mean,
for sure.
Even at 6 months. And thanks for subscribing, Laser. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
And Jordan, thank you for the sub.
Yeah.
You guys are great. Yeah, open mats are awesome. And then, when you feel confident enough to try out some competitions, that's where I learn the most is at every competition I've ever done.
So check out that head throw from Justin real quick. Can you go back?
The tail end of that, yeah. Right here in the center.
Yeah, so Andrew's giving him everything. He's trying to go for these outside trips. Really good, but I wanna go back because I'm learning about this as well, right? I want to pay attention to where Andrew's hips wind up in these trips. So he's got this low underhook, and now he's kind of straddling the leg. He goes for the trip here. But now now he's behind Justin. His hips are behind Justin instead of in front of Justin. Mm-hmm. And now that Justin has basically this headlock, he can do this, what do you call it? Udigeshi?
This would be, I mean, honestly, this just looks like a head throw, a very simple wrestler's head throw, because he doesn't have closed loop around his head and shoulder or something like that. He really just has him by the head, kind of like a bulldog strangle sort of approach. But then he hits the kind of an Uchimata finish on it with his leg up the middle.
Oh yeah, that's right. I totally missed that. Very good. Yeah, and then straight into Kesa or into the scarf hold, which is, right in line with most of those judo throws from there. That's great.
I think what you would call this first attempt, man, I wish pinball was watching.
I know. I was just thinking that. I'm in the chat.
So I think this first attempt would probably be called it's called an uki geishi, I think, or uki goshi rather. Ogoshi is when you get the hips like all the way across and just launch them, and then uki goshi is like kind of a half throw.
Okay.
And then there's like a quarter throw too. There's where I think you probably use much more of the upper body to hit the finish. Oh, let's see. I'm losing the chat.
Oh, right on. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us, Nate.
Oh yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate you stopping by. That looks far too happy to stay there. Wish I got into it. Yeah, laser. I was the same, man. Like the best time to start jiu-jitsu is, you know,
yesterday.
10, 20 years ago. The second best time is today, if you haven't. Did Jason just slap Steven in the face up by the lion? It kind of looks like he did. All right, Braden with me, Gavin with Duncan. Yes, of course, man. Those free subscriptions. It helps us out a lot. I appreciate it.
Dude, I still try to subscribe on mine, and I always forget how to do it.
Never gonna get your black belt emoji that way, dude.
Hey, like, I mean, I wind up doing it. It takes me 18 steps every single time.
Just want to look at Braden's Anaconda attempt here. So he's really been enjoying this move. So he takes his time getting the hand grip set up. Braden, you may. So this might be helpful. This might be doable for you against like someone your size. But I would like to see you hitting this with as much leverage as possible. Right now, when you do it, you kind of just like turn to your side. You know, you fall to your side and try to like pull me over, which works. And I'm not gonna sit there and crush you. So I'm going with it. But I really like to see you tuck your head underneath my ribs. Like lead with your head and get your head underneath my body. Then try to finish your roll from there. So initiate it with that head movement. And that should help. I mean, that even against like bigger guys, like some of the bigger guys in the class, they shouldn't be able to shut that down. But either way, that was good. Very tight. What's Gavin going for? Dude, Gavin has been playing with these ninja rolls and is getting too good at them. It's kind of making me mad because I'm not as proficient with them. I'm gonna have to start
straight into that heel hook.
I have to take private lessons from Gavin now. Yeah, so actually let's look at this a little further back. Duncan leaves his leg out. Gavin scoots right into standard ashi. And again, so he's putting on a little bit of the reap isn't there, but he was using the reaping direction. That was great. And notice, Gavin, where you get when you turn Duncan over, you kind of, in theory, you're slowing his roll down a bit. And now notice if he tried to roll again, you're blocking his leg. Like he needs to get his right leg on this side of you in order to roll. And you've taken that opportunity away from him. And now you get to really lay on some torque and break his knee.
Yeah, and not that you are allowed to do heel hooks and stuff in competition, but in training and stuff, I want to see you using the like up closer to the wrist, if not the bend in the wrist right here to catch the heel rather than back by the elbow.
Yeah.
So I mean, I love the finish, I love the entry, I love everything about it. I just want you to get more used to catching it into the wrist here and doing like a thumbs up, right? Like this.
You're
This
not
is
really
where
on
the
screen.
heel should be. I'm sorry?
You're not really on screen. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, my bad. We're cut off. Right here in this bend, this is where I want the heel. Down here, if it takes a little tiny bit of sweat and the heel's going to slip right out. Here, you've got the entire length of your forearm to start to crank as the as slippage becomes a factor.
Yeah, I feel like you and Braden are getting to the point now where you've got a lot of the fundamentals for many of the major subs, if not all the major subs. Now it's going to be tweaking these finishing mechanics, getting them tighter and tighter and tighter to where they're being executed with, you know, the utmost efficiency that you can get out of them. So little tiny things like that, heel placement on the arm, all that's going to be important. What you heard me talking about with like Austin's triangle when we went over the competition footage, those little things become very, very important, especially as your opponents get better and better at escaping.
Yeah, I'm seeing hands getting thrown back there, Steven. Jeez.
Yeah, what happened? They just clubbing each other in the head? We don't condone violence at this school. I think Danny was just saying today how difficult it is to take a shot on Jason. Like, his sprawl is excellent. Like, right,
Couldn't win the game. Yeah.
Right there. I mean, you know, we saw Steven hit a really great double leg earlier. Jason wasn't having it. This double leg is not like the one that Steven shot earlier, because they're tied up in these mutual collar ties, so not quite the setup. Steven may have been able to do something with this if he pulled Jason over him right before the level change. Just right, this is such a hard tie-up to work from, at least for me, in my own experience.
He was going for the left ankle, for a low ankle pick or something like that. So one thing, and I mean, out of all of that, what I really liked was Jason's arm placement in this sprawl. I feel like so many times we get caught up with getting our hips back that we sometimes can forget about where. Watch his left hand. So he sprawls back, but watch how he sticks the left hand right up the shoulder, so that if Steven did want to reshoot, it would be extremely difficult for him to go in that circle.
Yeah.
And then he comes around and attempts to hit a go behind, and then they're back to square one. But I mean, like, those little things will make or break somebody, like reshooting on you and taking you back down, right? Even though you thought that you won because you sprawled, that's a saving grace right there.
Yeah, I think the reshot is something that jiu-jitsu does not utilize enough of, or at least, you know, guys who play jiu-jitsu, you know, wrestlers come in and they'll do it all day, but like, you take a shot, it gets stuffed, you immediately take another shot. Like, yep. People are very bad at blocking 2 shots in a row. Gavin and Braden, I'm sure you guys could benefit from that in some of the wrestling you do. You've probably seen that already yourselves. But just that quick reshot can make all the difference.
So how did Steven get Jason down here? I missed that.
Let's see. Okay. Jason pull? Jason pull guard, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah. Okay.
No, it looks like he tried to sweep him, maybe. Okay. Steven jumping around. Neither of us could win the grip fight. Yeah, looks like it. Going for the low ankle. No, Jason. Joe just tapped Luke. Jason is like, even if you do get the takedown on him, then you have to figure out how to isolate his arm, and that's impossible. Let's look at Joe over here above you, Mike. This is weird. This is a cross-eyed. Oh, just wait a minute.
Hang on, what?
Joe said he just tapped Luke, but I think we got trolled, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, that's an outside heel hook.
Yeah, I was like, how is Joe gonna get this tap from here? Because yeah, this is strange. So you don't really have much of an effective leg position here. You've got your right leg on the outside of his shin. No hip control. Looks like you're trying to dig on a toe hold or something. Or maybe some weird straight ankle variation. But Luke was like, yeah, cool.
Austin went on a toe hold on Chris, and don't know whether he just didn't want to continue or whether they look pretty deep.
Yeah. Chris tends to. It seems like Chris taps a little early on some of the leg lock stuff, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Maybe Austin was just doing a little catch and release, or maybe Chris just definitely got out.
Right.
Here I'm talking with Braden Jordan. This is what you and I were talking about earlier. So I've got Braden in knee on belly here. This is a good example of how to handle it. So rather than pushing on the knee, Braden's got his hands on my ankle. He turns his body to the side, and that relieves some of the knee pressure, not necessarily all of it, but now he can look to trap my ankle with the legs. And now I forgot what he does with this. I don't know if he gets an underhook or what, but now you can get to work from here rather than suffering with a knee on belly.
I haven't had the pleasure of really training with Chris other than the first day. So I don't know if I would be the best indicator. Generally, when people are very, bendy and can get their knees to their eyebrows and, like very, very tight and play very tight, that leaves them very susceptible to having their legs pinned over top of their head. And kind of, walking around into a north-south on somebody like that. Not always, but sometimes. We can look at that passing style if that's what if you're interested in that. And I'll also have to test it the next time I'm able to train with him, just to see if that works with him.
Look how foolish I made Braden look here. I literally took him off the ground with this double Kouchi. That's perfect.
And he just knows it too. It's like,
yeah, Jordan, to that end, yeah, like pinning someone's shoulders into their chest when they're playing that like really defensive guard, pulling their knees up, like pinning their shoulders to their chest and kind of turning them one way or the other as you loosely pass around the side can be an initial approach. It may not always be that easy to where you just get to like pin him to a side and walk around. But I also find double underpassing where you're taking scoop grips, underhooks on the legs. You're taking those, scooping them up, putting them on his shoulders, and going heavy to his side. For what it's worth, yeah, I have trouble passing Chris's guard too. Like I have to throw a few different things at him before I get there. And maybe even today on the footage, I think I have a roll with him at some point, maybe after this. And you'll see me trying to hit double unders, over unders, and these are all on legs. This isn't upper body configurations. But those are just some different things you can do.
He's always game to train. I love that.
Who, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't really take rest rounds. Gavin with the quick rear naked strangle on me to start. I didn't see Chris and Jason roll.
I'm glad to see Daniel and Caleb training.
Yes, absolutely.
This is like their second or third round.
Good go behind from Gavin.
Good go behind from Jason too.
And Steven and Joe as well. They have a little. Let's look at Jason.
Arm drag. Beautiful.
Yeah. Steven and Jason getting twirled up.
Yeah, that'd be a slide by. Yep.
So Gavin putting to work the trying to break me down from turtle. I'd like to see the knee in a little bit more, but that was enough to get me to roll. Loses the back, comes on top, and this was a super deep
dude.
Katagatame.
Okay. That arm triangle from Gavin is tight.
Yeah, I think Cole mentioned that too to us, because maybe it was him. I don't remember, but yeah, Gavin hit that on somebody before he was hitting him on me, and maybe it was you. I'm just saying how tight it was. His arm was like perfectly set in. I like that you're using that, Gavin, when you're losing the back and coming to mount. That's how you set that one up. There's no reason for you to well, shouldn't say no reason. There aren't many reasons that you should like give up that strong upper body connection if I haven't taken it away from you yet. So that was a good way to keep an attack going through that transition. Really quick up on the leg entry here.
So Jason is now in a half guard from Chris. Maybe just straight up butterfly guard. So let's see if he has any luck passing.
I think Joe may have just hit an Imanari entry, or an Imanari style entry, that rolling cross ashi entry. I want to go back to that. We'll come back to Jason and Chris. Look at Joe.
Oh yeah.
Joe, so you were inches away from this being in. Remember your right leg. So you dive with your right arm. Your right leg has to get in between his legs on the roll. So everything's happening with your right side right now. Watch your right foot. We see it peek out the side of Steven's body. Here you're not in on the leg yet. Right, you want that leg in between Steven's legs. Now you kind of start to transition into a straight here. Steven's, wise to it and collects your leg first. But that was a great attempt at the roll. You just got to get your leg position set. I bet that one was a little disappointing. That was a sick roll, man. Keep trying it. Keep playing with that one. If for no other reason, like screw the flashiness of the entry and all that stuff. It's a cool move. But the best thing I think that comes out of like learning that is you develop a very good understanding of where your legs need to be through these entrances. And that's I know for me that was super important when I was starting to play with legs. Mike, you probably too. Like, we've all been in that spot where we're like, what the hell? Where do my legs need to be? I don't have any sort of control right now. But if you can learn that and be familiar with it while you're spinning around upside down, all the better. So really good stuff. Keep practicing that. Then Gavin with, I think an Anaconda. Or no, Gavin Darced me here. That's what this was. This was super surprising because I know Braden's been playing with the Anaconda. I know we went over the Anaconda recently, but I don't know where Gavin pulled this Darce from.
Danny.
Was Danny showing it to him?
Yeah, a few weeks ago. These kids are like sponges, dude.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, he's deep in on this, and again, like the grip was solid. I was very surprised when that set in. Let's just revisit Jason and Chris for a second regarding the passing. So Jason disengages. Jason's kind of doing what I was saying about pushing the knees into the chest and pinning them there. So he's not letting Chris extend his legs, and you could see him trying to set up better angles. Well, he was trying to pin with his shin, but he moves himself to half guard now. And honestly, I don't know about you, but I always kind of forget when we talk about passing. Like I think we talk about body locks and Toriandos and some of the more popular ones like the double unders, over unders, whatever. Forcing your way to half guard is a very, very useful way to work. So you haven't passed yet. Jason hasn't passed, but he's forced himself into half guard. That's going to help him progress forward from there. Now he's got to contend with a knee shield and a few things. Here he's using the threat of a submission to pass. So he still hasn't passed. His legs are still tangled up, but he's laying on the Kimura. So he uses Chris's defensive reactions against him. Steps that leg over.
Oh, there it is.
And now he's passed.
Now he's straight into a mount. Very nice. Well done, Jason. And then into the back
with a body triangle. I love the time he took right there. He sets up the body triangle as close as he can.
Mm-hmm.
Then a little hand assist, takes his time, just to ensure that he's got the connection he wants. Now he's losing control over the shoulders because he doesn't have an underhook. He just has like double overs. But that's a really good example of passing. It's not an isolated thing. It's not one move or two moves. It's often like an entire set of concepts that you might have to chain together to get through it. There's no real one way to do it, or no step-by-step way. You just have to play your game, see what opportunities open up, or what opportunities you can force and adapt.
That was a good setup, and I think a good way to sense. This is interesting. I think I didn't call out what I'm looking at, but it's Steven and Joe down here at the bottom.
Yeah.
Very interesting change here. So, yeah, Steven comes up and gets into this control arm position, right? So he goes.
Sorry, I just want to see how this got here.
Yeah, he almost tries to go into a dorsal, but then Joe comes up and winds up, I think, grabbing like a single leg. So I think Joe's left hand is trapped. I think his left arm, so he comes up.
I'm going to call it right here. I didn't see it. I think Joe's arm goes between Steven's legs and not outside Steven's legs like we've talked about.
That's right. Yep.
And it's probably kind of obvious. Yeah.
So he comes up, grabs the single leg, and then Steven just locks up what was going to be a closed guard, but now he's like got this like quasi back / closed guard thing going on. But watch Steven's head. So see how Stevens, we went over this in back week. You see how Stevens still having his head. He's trying his best to get his head on the opposite side of Joe's head from the strangle.
Mm-hmm.
So he's strangling with the left arm, and Steven is trying his best to get his head on the opposite side, so to the right of Joe's head, and I think that's why it winds up working.
I mean, his head's behind Joe's head right now.
Yeah, and I mean he's hugging him really tight here.
Yeah.
I don't know. But theoretically, there's nothing on the left-hand side to block the artery from Joe here. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel like that was a very tight strangle.
Yeah, it definitely looked tight.
It was below the eyes.
Jordan and Justin going through Katagatame. Good round. Daniel and Luke. All right, yeah, I'm with Chris on this one, so we'll see what sort of passing tactics I put into play.
Okay. It was a jaw crank. Got it.
Just since you and I were talking about it today, Chris gets me in kind of a Russian. Well, yeah, he gets me in a Russian tie position, but I'm using, since he hasn't gotten me off balance, I'm using my free hand in this like reverse collar tie position to really make it difficult for him to get me moving without him going with me, you know?
Yep. Nice go behind.
He put a nasty arm triangle on me in this round, I think. I was trying to play around with how to get out with the intention of driving my arm deeper in and trying to turn over when he dismounts. And
it's a big game to play.
Yeah, it is. I went to go for it, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting strangled now. I don't like this. Like, let me go back in the other direction. And like I had my chin tucked enough to withstand it. I mean, you can tell I'm not really panicking here. I'm just kind of like angling myself to where I need to be, and then I start to recapture his leg to get safe. But yeah, that was I was kind of practicing a late stage escape there. But yeah, I start to torque his hips a bit more to get him back on top to where I can get my arm back. Let's look at Daniel and Luke real quick. Did they start down? I guess they did. Okay. And then, oh, look at Daniel. Daniel on a toe hold. Luke, not the least bit concerned, I'm sure. Daniel trying to make his way to the back. Setting up the gift wrap. Luke getting his arm safe. Cheeky little reversal from me. Start to get my hips up. Chris kind of dives himself over to get behind my hips.
Overcommitted to that, yeah.
Yeah, I just take him over with it. And I think there, I was actually trying to attempt to get to a T Kimura position, leading my hips across his body, but he was ready for it and used his limber legs to almost take my back, so I had to adjust pretty quickly. Then he establishes closed guard, so I have to play my closed guard game. And not this, I don't want this to sound like a dig on Chris, but I have not been the least bit threatened from his De La Riva setups. He gets here a lot. Like, I feel like this is where he's comfortable playing against a standing opponent, but I haven't experienced much in the way of off balancing or leg entrances or anything like that. I think that that's something he could really develop and turn into a really dangerous tool for himself. But once I got standing there, I was like, all right, let me just control the ankles. I should be okay. And now I can work on my passing. So here I'm kind of taking the approach that Jason did earlier with working from half guard, but I have to clear the knee shield, which I've been unable to do. What did Andrew and Steven just do? In the corner. Oh, okay. Andrew almost got behind, but we haven't seen Steven do that in a while. I feel like Steven was letting everybody take his back from standing just so he could Kimura them.
Yeah.
There was a good couple of months where that was common practice for him. So yeah, Chris is doing a great job of keeping his knee shield in. I'm stepping over now. This is, again, this falls in the realm of submission threat, I would say, or closer to a submission threat for the guard pass. I really have him curled up here as I'm trying to make my way around to a Kimura position. Now I've worked myself into a side triangle. To a rear crucifix. To a back take. And here I should be taking a page out of Jason's book and establishing my lower body control a little bit better. Daniel in on a deep arm triangle on Luke. See how Luke handles this. Luke kind of doing what I was doing, like attacking the legs, trying to get him back in alignment instead of flanking him. So turns up. This is so Daniel about goes behind him to take the back and then readjusts with just the arm triangle, but I don't know if he's under Luke's neck right now. It looks like he's riding a little high on Luke's head. So Luke, yeah, Luke's chin is tucked. He's probably not worried about the strangle at all right now. But definitely very controlling. Daniel absolutely has Luke under control.
No, the hand pinned.
Yeah. Yes, the shin pin. And I imagine Daniel's thinking setting in the north-south. And Luke likes to try to counter the north-south with his own from bottom. Little foot sweep on Jordan. One more time.
Yeah, Justin's game top left is very aggressive from standing. Very nice with Sotogari.
Yeah, that was great. I want to see head position. Let's look at head position and feet and everything here. So this is interesting. So Justin and Chris are kind of 50-50 right now. So Justin's in a little bit of danger as he does this. He doesn't have Chris off balance backwards, which I like to see a bit more, or off balance to the side too, like you like to do, kind of dragging down with that heavy overhook.
Yep.
But yeah, really commits to reaping the leg there, and reaping in the judo sense, not in the jiu-jitsu sense. Just taking the leg out of the ground, like when you reap a crop and you take it out of the ground. That's typically how I think judo uses that term.
That's great. Yeah, I haven't trained with him from standing.
Nice to see him bringing it.
Got Joe and Jason right underneath the chat.
Working to a rear triangle on Jordan, if I remember correctly. But I don't get it. I also like that Justin's getting comfortable attacking legs.
Oh, yeah.
Finding himself quickly deciding between offense and defense. I wish Joe and Jason would keep going off screen. There we go. Jason keeps walking back. Let's see. Jordan and I. Okay, I don't think this is when Jordan and I started talking about Neon Belly, but actually, and Braden, this might be of interest to you. Here's another rolling Kimura entrance set up from Neon Belly, and Jordan, you can see now why, another good reason why it's bad to put your hand on the knee to clear the knee from Neon Belly. Besides the underhook, I don't opt for the underhook here. I just grab your wrist with my right hand and I throw in the rolling Kimura. And then you're doing a good job here. I wish this was a better example I could show for Braden. I talked to Braden earlier about rolling to that perpendicular position. Jordan, you immediately start to roll away from me, or like not roll, but like turn away from me like the hands of a clock. And you can see I'm chasing you, trying to get to perpendicular. And then as you roll up, that's where you'll see a little bit of daylight right here, and I stick my knee in, and that's my back entrance. So that's another way to use that flying Kimura or rolling Kimura entry to advance your position. It's not just about the sub. The stalemate, as always. Ooh, Joe almost going for the arm throw.
Yeah.
That's Jason has there's a special place in the back of his head where he remembers, I think his first class, I hit that on him, and he was like, "What the hell was that?" And like, I was like, "Let me show you how to do it." So now I don't think he ever lets anybody do it to him anymore. What's Chris got up in the corner here? He's got some funky triangle on Justin. Let's see how I set this up. Oh, okay, just a regular triangle, but the way Justin rolled, it got to a very strange angle. It's like halfway between a mounted triangle and a regular triangle. Steven waiting patiently to use his underhook. Nice triangle transition from Gavin. Wait for 1 second. I missed Justin's takedown. He's really likes the Sotogari. I love seeing a simple classic move used effectively.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 more rounds. This is Luke and Chris. Joe and Andrew. Another battle of the neighbors. Ooh, Joe. Nice execution. Yeah, Andrew, you just got caught thinking on that one. That's all that was. You're like, all right, let me get my legs inside. Let me set up a connection with a leg, get to a leg entanglement. And Joe says, it took too long. I'm just gonna take him out. So Luke is getting he's getting into a position that you don't really see too much anymore. I feel like a lot of people have adapted to it, but I think they used to call it like the game over position, where it was it's cross ashi, but you cross their secondary leg over your body and then sit up into it. So now they can't even roll away. I don't know if any of you have ever been put in that position, but you can't roll one way or the other. And look how much Chris's right leg, the primary leg, is exposed. It's just kind of sticking out up there.
Yeah, it's an inside heel hook waiting to happen.
Yeah. Luke really takes his time here and focuses almost entirely on the secondary leg. Once he gets to cross ashi, he's just all hands on the secondary leg. He keeps going back to it. And what can Chris do? He can't roll away. He can't open up the legs. The hand push on the knee isn't anywhere near enough because he's got a bend in his leg, and Luke is like extremely deep on the leg, on the primary leg. So now, after all this, I think what's most disrespectful about this is Luke says, you know what? I don't even want that heel that's totally exposed. I'm just going to hit a cross-side ankle lock. All that work, and then he just hits a straight ankle. Let's see if Justin hits me with an Osotogari. I don't remember this roll. No, but he catches my foot sweep. Counters with a single almost, and then Actually, yeah, I mean that is a single. He just finishes it with the foot sweep. That was really nice.
Nice. No hooks in yet.
Justin's really trying to trap my arm. But I get just enough separation to get away. And then notice, just since this was a leg day, notice as he loses the back and transitions, in that transition, I find an opportunity to set up my own leg attack. So just an example of when you guys can not just escape to guard, not just escape to sweeps, but escape into attacks as well. I don't know if I ended up doing much with it, but gets him moving. I'm gonna have my double unders, go for my sweep. All right, Joe, what are you gonna do with this? So, Joe, I'm curious if you were thinking about a mounted triangle here. Let me know if you were, or if you were just like, dead set on getting this armbar. If you wanted the triangle, or if you were thinking about it, you're gonna have to switch your legs here, and you can probably see why now. This leg that goes across the shoulders isn't going to do any strangling. It's got to be the other leg, because this leg has no connection with the neck. But what you are setting up here is you're giving yourself a fulcrum over which to bend that arm, which you eventually do. So that's why I'm not sure if this was okay. Your hips went to shit. Okay, that's fine. So as long as you see the differences there and the opportunity and all that. I think so. I go for my standing guard break with Justin, but he puts me down. And this is just a live example of what I've shown you guys before. I hit the knee pinch, so Justin can't come up. Oh man, where is it? I raise my hips up to expose his ankles. Get my V-grips. I split the legs, and I go into cross ashi immediately. So for everybody who's afraid of standing and losing their balance when they do a standing guard break, go ahead and lose your balance. It's fine. You can turn it into a leg attack or a pass if you want. I think I'm going to scoot ahead here a little bit. We've got one more round to go through. Let's see what Andrew with a snap down, but Joe, no one has control yet. Say if Andrew could collect that far arm with the head, I would probably give him takedown points on this. Maybe. That's why I don't ref, because I would be terrible at it. Andrew in on the side triangle though, and then switching to the legs. That was nice, man. You see that?
No, I didn't.
We got, so over on the side here, Andrew and Joe. So
okay.
Andrew's in the Yoko Senkaku side triangle position. And then now as Joe starts to come around to him, he switches down to the legs.
That's really nice.
Yeah, gets into an Arimi, gets into a knee bar. Break it. And Joe trying to counter.
Now they're in 50-50.
And Andrew, that was great. Good
That
thinking.
was sick.
Yeah. Great way to end the round too. Oh, and Steven and I have another banger round as always. Could have used that Russian tie lesson we were talking about earlier before this round.
Oh, really?
I mean, right off the bat, we're playing with them. God, Steven was just in a boxing mood tonight. I forgot how we eventually get to the ground. I tried to double leg and that's what it was.
Guillotine. Okay. Up to the ground.
And then is that Jason and Luke, I think, up top as well. Luke on the leg. So we'll see how Jason left that behind. So, because Jason is playing half guard right now. Oh, okay. It's similar to the position Joe was in earlier, where as he was falling when he was against Caleb, Joe tried to cut the angle, like cut the corner around the leg. I don't know if Jason was trying to cut the corner or if this was just how he was off balance, but he left that heel behind, left him open to the outside heel hook. Oh, that's right. I remember this. So, notice. I don't know, Steven, maybe you could tell me. I feel like you guys don't even fight my standing guard break anymore. You just open your legs and decide how you want to proceed. I don't have to like fight to get your legs open anymore. But as you come up, I kind of hit the front headlock, arm in, and I tried to go for the what is it called? I think it's just in Ukiwaza. Tripping you, trying to take you over, but I couldn't. You put me flat on my butt. But I could tell I had the arm in here, and I had my forearm, instead of a chin strap grip, I had my forearm kind of like over the mouth or over the chin, like the crook of the chin. And I think I finally, after however long I've been doing jiu-jitsu, found the way I like to finish arm in guillotines.
Gotcha.
Because it's always, I had the realization about a year ago that it's never about arm in guillotines they aren't finished the way a standard guillotine is. You don't have like the same connection to the neck. It's almost like a mandible strangle from the front, where you tuck the chin into the chest and pull the head back and initiate the strangle that way. And I've never been able to do it with a good like chin strap grip or anything like here. But when I had the crook of my wrist on the chin, I felt like I could actually get the like the mechanics that I needed to tuck the chin and get the tap. And then just to go ahead.
That's just a nice, yeah. I don't normally finish it that way.
Yeah, it was kind of just an opportunity, and then just to like pour some salt in the wound. I was like, man, I suck at army guillotines too. So he was like, oh, whatever, man. Thanks.
Go Uchimata, Haragoshi.
Just, throwing everything up, seeing what sticks. None of it does. He gets my head below his chest. Is allowed to put on a lot of pressure.
He tries to go for the Peruvian here.
Yes, he does. Yeah. How dare him.
Oh, back door.
Yeah, and notice there, You know, anybody who thinks about trying to like scoop a leg to get out of mount, you can't see it well. All you really see right here, at least initially, you see my one arm coming through, but soon behind it, you see my second arm follows. I'm not leaving a single arm behind to get put in a triangle. I'm committing both arms to this, bridging again, rolling, whatever I need to do to get out. But I'm only doing that because I have both legs out. This little flurry was fun. I was really trying to throw his legs by to get the pass, and he wouldn't let me at all. So now I'm stuck in this body lock position. So glad that your little cartwheel didn't work on me, since it worked so many times earlier on other people. He might end up doing it again. I can't remember. Yeah, now he clears my knee. Now I'm in some trouble.
He carefully walks the legs back to where he clears your hips. Yep. That was a nice pass.
Ted and Justin just do. So Ted's in like kind of a reverse triangle position. Transitions to the arm bar. Okay. Right behind you. Yeah, that was a really great body lock pass from Steven. A much more dynamic way of getting around the knee than the typical like plodding one step at a time up and over the knee. But once he gets it, yeah, like you said, that walking the knee back is what really solidified it. I want to see if I tried what I think I tried coming up on this single. So I've been playing with this thigh pry, it's called. You see it a lot more in like wrestling, where from a single leg, when you're behind your opponent and you have their single leg, reaching through the legs, and then like what I'm doing with my arm here, cupping like the front of the thigh, and using that to put a torque on their hips to pop them down. A little, I don't know how I feel about it yet. It was a little precarious. You can see I kind of ditched on it.
I feel there. No.
A what?
An arm bar? Aren't you giving him an arm?
If he adjusted, quickly enough.
If he dropped his right leg back, if his right leg came back and sat down on your shoulder, then he has the arm, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, like I need to be moving him forward, and I need to be doing it from a single leg. Like I can't just do it against a standing opponent. So I have to have his one leg off the ground, like kind of in my pocket, and then I need to be making him walk forward. It's a knee block essentially, but you're doing it with your hand on that far leg. So yeah, you don't want to do it in a static situation for sure. Anatomical snuff box. Someone should make that their Twitch handle. So then Steven finishes the round strong, goes for the double leg, gets behind me, and then just whips me to the mat, passes my guard.
That was nice.
Yeah. Solid Monday night as usual. Really awesome. Thanks for all the subscriptions today. Yeah, from Cole, from Laser, from Jordan. We appreciate it, you guys. Like I said, it always helps us out. And Laser, Nate, glad you guys could join us. We always like seeing the new faces in here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so cool. Thanks for sticking around tonight, you guys. Went a little long, but there was just too much great footage that we couldn't ignore. Yeah, thanks, Laser. Appreciate it, man. Of course, Josh, happy to help. Yeah, like as always, bring any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions to class, and we'll be happy to go over stuff with you. Laser, since you're new here, man, you can also go check out, we'd like to do a competition footage review too. So like last Wednesday, that was what we went over. A bunch of us went out to the competition. So we like to break down for our students where they did good, where they could do better, all that stuff. So hopefully you guys can learn something from that too. Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate the support today. Let's see, what is it? Sunday? Oh, it is Sunday. Damn. We are all the way through our curriculum, so we're going to be going back to closed guard tomorrow. So be ready for that. I'm going to make you guys do a bunch of standing guard breaks if I have to teach at all in the next 2 weeks. So start practicing them now. Cool. Yeah, thank you guys. What else? Anything else? Yeah, no news. So follow here if you haven't. Subscribe if you can. Use your Twitch Prime. We always appreciate the support. Follow us over on YouTube as well, where we'll post this for you guys to watch it again and again and again. I need to update the competition schedule so you guys can be aware of what's coming up and anything you guys want to start training for. And as always, talk with us if you guys want to compete. If you have any aspirations of that, we'll get you ready to go for it. And yeah, other than that, go trim your nails and do your laundry. Don't be stinky. And we'll see you guys back in class. Take it easy.